3 months ago, I set REA Group one test. Yield growth above 10%. It came in at 13. So the call held, and the stock is still worth less than the day I made it. How do you get the business right and the price wrong? I have read the full year accounts. One of my 3 risks did fire. By the end, you will know which calls held and the one I got wrong.
Before we do though, quick disclaimer. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a licensed advisor. This is purely educational. Do your own research. Talk to a professional if you need to. All right, let's go.
Back in April, I covered REA Group on this channel. The link is in the description. Here is exactly what I said. REA scored 7.6 out of 10. The verdict was wide moat compounder, valuation normalizing. And I set one test. Yield per listing had grown 14% in the first half. Volumes had fallen 6%. So I asked one question. Can yield growth stay above 10% if volumes stay flat? I called that the definitive test of the pricing power thesis. I also ranked 3 risks: listing volumes, CoStar buying domain, and India. And I gave you a view. I said the structural bull case was the stronger one. I said that with the stock at $176. Remember that number.
First, 20 seconds for anyone new here. REA Group owns realestate.com.au. Agents pay to list properties. Buyers browse for free. REA charges the agents. Every year, a little more. That is the whole model. Now, the result. Full-year revenue was $1.79 billion, up 7%. Underlying profit was $650 million, up 15%. Profit grew twice as fast as revenue. But look at the reported profit line, $552 million, down 19%. That gap has 2 causes. REA wrote $111 million off India this year, and last year's profit was flattered by a $117 million gain. That gain did not repeat. We will come back to India. The dividend went up 20% to $2.97, fully franked. And the market's verdict on the day? Up 3.4% at the close. A 15% rise in profit owned a 3% move. 3 things were on the scorecard. Here is how they landed. The yield test. I set the bar at 10%. REA delivered 13. Held. Listing volumes. REA anticipated a fall of 1 to 3%. They came in flat. That is better than they expected, not worse. And India missed badly. One housekeeping note. I have rebuilt this 5-year series on REA's own core operations basis. That moves 2 numbers I quoted in April. Last year's operating earnings are now $969 million. In April, I said 904. Same business. One consistent definition across all 5 years. On this basis, revenue has compounded at 11% a year. Operating earnings at nearly 13%. This is the part of the business that improved most. Operating margin reached 60.7%, up almost 3 points in a single year. Return on invested capital hit 40%. That is 40 cents of profit for every dollar of capital employed. And free cash flow conversion was 97%. Profit that is genuinely cash. Here is the number the whole call rested on. The line across the middle is my 10% threshold. First half, 14% from the half-year report. Full year, 13. Above the line both times. And this is the part that matters. Listings were flat. REA raised prices 13% into a market that did not grow. The balance sheet first. REA holds $366 million in cash and no drawn debt. After lease liabilities, that is $290 million net. Cash is down on last year, and the reason is a good one. The $200 million buyback was completed in full. They bought at around $159 a share. Now, valuation. As at the 6th of August, REA closed at $172. That is about 35 times earnings, and roughly 20 times operating earnings. In April, I quoted 40 times and 25 times. Cheaper. Still not cheap. And one more piece of context you need. At the end of June, this stock was $139. It has climbed more than 20% since then. Most of that came before the result, not after it. So the round trip is the real story here. Down, then most of the way back. 3 things changed since April. 2 of them I did not see coming. First, India. In April, I described a rebuild. REA has not rebuilt it. They have agreed to sell it. Housing.com goes to Aurum PropTech. The payment is $68 million in Aurum shares, not cash. Now, read this next part carefully. The stake going back is 25% of Aurum, but it is held by REA India, and REA Group owns 78% of REA India. So REA's true look-through stake is closer to 19%, not 25%. And the deal is not done. It still needs Aurum shareholder approval. Completion is expected by the end of September. The cost of the exit was $111 million. India revenue fell 52% on the way out. Second, leadership. And I need to correct something I told you in April. I said Owen Wilson was chief executive. He had already retired back in October. Cameron McIntyre has run REA since November. The chief financial officer changed too. That was my error. And it matters because a new chief executive has no track record here yet. Third, the moat got stronger. REA's audience lead over the second-placed site widened. 104 million more visits than its nearest rival. So which risks actually fired? I ranked listing volumes as the highest risk. It did not fire. Volumes were flat, not down. But I am not retiring it. Next year, REA guides listings flat to slightly down. And there is a new demand-side risk. The May budget changed property tax, and it is now law. From July 2027, negative gearing tightens on established homes, and the capital gains discount is replaced. I ranked CoStar and Domain second. It has not fired either. CoStar bought the homes.com.au web address and has not used it. The threat is still loaded. It just has not been fired. I ranked India third. That is the one that fired. And it cost $111 million. So the ranking changes for next year. Listing volumes stay at number 1. Softer guidance plus the tax change coming. CoStar moves to number 2. Unchanged and still loaded. And there is a new number 3. Execution under a chief executive we have not seen tested yet. The debate in one line each side. Bull case. REA raised prices 13% in a flat market. Margins expanded. Return on capital hit 40%. And it is cheaper than it was in April. Bear case. The growth market has been sold. Volumes guide flat to down. Leadership is brand new. And you still pay 35 times earnings. My read. The quality argument got stronger this year. The runway argument got weaker. That is a genuinely different company to own. Better business, narrower path. So here is the answer to the question I opened with. Overall, the score barely moved. 7.6 to 7.5. But look underneath. Quality went up a full point. Valuation up half a point.
And Runway fell a full point. That is India leaving. Management fell half a point. A new chief executive and a write-down. So the verdict changes. In April, I said wide moat compounder, valuation normalizing. Today, it is wide moat compounder, runway narrowed. The business got better. The number of ways it can grow got smaller. 3 things I am watching now. First, and this is the new one number, REA guides low double-digit controllable yield growth next year. Controllable means the price rises REA actually sets, stripping out which cities happen to list more. If that number still starts with a 1, the pricing engine works. Second, listings. Guidance is flat to down low single digits. And watch what the tax change does to seller behavior. It starts in July 2027. If owners hold properties back and wait, listings get thinner. Third, CoStar. They own the web address. Watch whether they finally spend. So the call held. The test I set was passed, and passed clearly. But I got India wrong, and being right about the business did not re-rate the stock this year. If you want the original call in full, the REA deep dive from May is on the left. And CSL, the cheapest it has been in a decade, is the one most people start with. That is on the right. If this kind of framework-based ASX analysis is useful to you, subscribing is the easiest way to make sure you see each new video. One company, one framework, one scorecard. Every week.